Knock knock. It's a new review for Knock Knock. It's directed by Eli Roth, and he's known for doing horror films. I wouldn't call this movie a horror film, but it's not going to be a spoiler filled review because I tend to only do those for the movies I'm trying to save you money on because they suck so bad and you want to know what's the big deal. And this is not the best movie I've ever seen, but it was pretty fucking entertaining. I have to say it. But first thing, if you're looking for blood, gore, the usual Eli Roth stuff, it is not in this movie. There's more of if I describe it, I would call it a dark comedy, and stars Keanu Reeves as a man who's happily married supposedly, and then his wife decides to go out of town with the kids, and he's left alone in his mansion one night in Hollywood, and it's not a mansion, but it's a really nice house. To me, it's a mansion. And two hot chicks show up at his door, and they're covered in rain, and they're supposed to go to a party, but they don't know where they are, and their phones conveniently got wet, so they can't use them. So they're wondering if they could use his internet, come inside and like use an iPad or something like that. And of course he lets them in because they're hot. And they're very flirty right off the bat. They're very sexually charged, like they basically literally talk about like fucking and what guys they fuck and how they like to fuck. I mean, that's how that comes out of their mouth. So, um, and of course their clothes are wet. They're like, oh, we can't go out there with wet clothes to any party. Can we dry our clothes? So he conveniently has two robes ready. And he calls him an Uber, and by the time the Uber gets there, they've disappeared. He wants to go get their clothes for them. They run to the shower, get naked, and he's like, "Oh my god, fantasy come true!" But first he has to do the thing like, "No, I'm married. I can't do that." Ooh, all right. And they get down in the shower, all three of them. They get down in his bedroom, all three of them. And morning comes, and he thinks they're gone. He's like, "Sweet." He gets up, goes to the kitchen. They're making pancakes, acting like 12-year-olds, throwing food at each other, like laughing, giggling, running around. He's like, what the fuck? And then we know right away, I mean, you already know from the previews and stuff, that they're touched in the head, both these chicks. And one's a really hot blonde chick who's Brazilian, I think. I forgot. But she kind of has like the thick accent, Spanish accent, which, I mean, I'm not trying to be racist or anything like that, but like doesn't go with the I totally expected like a valley girl, like oh my god, like I can't believe I'm fucking you, and now I'm crazy. I was expecting that kind of language come out of her mouth, and she's breaking the Spanish every now and then. It's just disconcerting. I don't know why, like a Christina Aguilera type. Okay, and the other one's a hot brunette chick, and they progressively get crazier, and then Keanu Reeves decides he's going to call the police and get them out of there because they're just acting the ass, and they're like, surprise, fucker, one of us is 15 years old, and if you do call the police, you are going to jail for statutory. And he's like, fuck. And from there, it gets really interesting. I'll go as far as this is that, he does eventually get them to leave, drops them off at a house they say is theirs. It's probably not. And I wouldn't check either if I were him and be like, I'm so glad to get rid of these two. I wouldn't have driven them in the first place. Maybe to a fucking bridge because they're psychos and then dump them off. But, he gets rid of them, goes back home that night, hears something funny, sees his family picture at the end of the hallway, goes down the hallway, boom, someone knocks him over the head, and the shit begins. And it's a very interesting movie. It is not bloody. It is not overly violent. I mean, they physically attack him a few times, but it's not like it's nothing that's gonna make you cringe. If you don't like gore, you'll be fine with this movie. There's minimal. I mean, very very minimal. There's maybe one scene where they stab him with a fork, and even that there's not that much blood and shit. It's more psychologically what they do to him. They torture him psychologically. They mock him. They basically make fun of him being the macho guy that he was pretending to be, the sensitive guy he was pretending to be. They're basically like, look, we know what you are. You're a fucking pig like all other guys are. You say you're married. You say you never do us, but you did do us. And then you learn one of the girls was probably sexually abused, was definitely sexually abused as a child because she starts to have sex with him again. Rape. I mean, it's male rape, I guess, forcibly. And in between acting lusty, she starts saying, but daddy, I did what you told me to. So something happened in her past. And then she just starts, abusing him physically, like slapping him and getting angry. And it gets worse from there. And it was very suspenseful, not scary, suspenseful. Like it kept you guessing. And I have to say, the bitches were so good at acting crazy. They were entertaining. Like I laughed when I probably shouldn't have. That's why I said it was like a dark comedy. They would kill somebody, look down, look at each other, and burst out laughing like it was the funniest thing on the planet. And I'd fucking giggle. So, but I think it was supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be a light. They were just crazy bitches. That's what they were. And the ending doesn't exactly go the way you think it will. Like you're pretty sure it's going to go a certain way. But and some people won't like it, I don't think. But I think what they did, how they finally handle him, and how they're handled and all that. I mean, I think the finale was satisfying to me because I was like, that's pretty fucked up in its own way. What they do is pretty fucked up. I'm not gonna say what they do, but it's like, oh, that's fucked up because you think of yourself in that situation. If that was happening to you, how fucked up that would be. So, but again, it's not like a violent type of fucked up. It's all psychological here. So if you're not in for really wordy movies and people talking a lot, but I have to say, this could have been a really horrible film, but the chicks were good at playing crazy and just not all there. And they were funny. But they would also be, the blonde was really good at being scary psycho. So was the dark haired one. But they're very, I was never bored. I think at parts, some people might have actually been, but I was never, because they were always crazy. When they're trashing the like rooms at certain points and doing things, they're always doing it with this maniacal look and this like wild laughter, and like they're having the best time of their lives, and that's what makes it kind of chilling and, like I said, funny. Only problem I had with this movie was the casting of Keanu Reeves, because he's the worst actor in the fucking planet. Listen, if the guy does not have a green screen behind him, he does not know what to do with himself. I'm convinced. There was a point in this film where his character kind of changes a little bit, and it could have been done in a really dramatic, really revealing way. And it just looks like Keanu Reeves is reading off a card. How he's like Eli Roth is up there, like, okay, now you're gonna get mad. And he's like, oh, and then whoa, I was like really pissed and what I can't read. I mean, I don't know, but he's just such a bad actor, and he was never known for being a great actor. Let's be real. I'm not saying. Okay, I'm kind of saying he's one of the worst fucking actors I've ever seen. I don't give a fuck. Fine, great looking guy, especially in his heyday and all that. Fine, I guess maybe that was a thing, but like he's made for action movies. It'd be like saying Arnold Schwarzenegger's the best actor to play. He sucks, but he's good at these action things. That's what he needs to stick to. I think the movie could have even been better with a male lead who was a great actor. Like if fucking Gyllenhaal or DiCaprio, I know they probably wouldn't do this. Somebody in that level had done it and made it to where you took this guy more seriously. You don't. You think he's a creep from the get-go. You kind of know that he's gonna fuck these chicks. You know he's just getting his rocks off. You know he's not the good. He has to keep reminding himself that he's a good guy the whole time. These bitches are like, no, you're not. You're pretty much as bad as us. I mean, we might be a little worse, but seriously, you're bad. So, yeah, I kind of felt I had to put this review out there. It's on video on demand on any of your cable companies, I believe. I watched it on the Google Play Store, so it's on there too, and definitely on iTunes. You can rent it. It's in a few theaters. Like I live in Chicago, and I looked at to see if it was playing in some theaters because I couldn't find it on Google Play at first. It was only like 2 theaters, really, really fucking shitty neighborhoods, by the way. But there you go. So I kind of felt the need to do this after I fucking savaged Eli Roth's last fucking movie, which was that horrible Green Inferno piece of shit. But this is the problem I have with Eli Roth. I mean, as far as he shows me glimmers of doing something awesome like a Hostel 2, which like I said, thought was better than Hostel 1, and then he fucks it up with something bizarre and makes no sense like fucking, the Green Inferno, and then does something kind of like a really, really good B-movie, psychological B-movie, dark comedy thriller like this, where everything was like, all right, I get where you're going here. This is good. This is good shit. It's not like a Rob Zombie where everything is just, he watched a Jerry Springer episode, then be like, okay, and then Michael Myers finds out that this, that's for another day. Should never direct another horror film. Rob Zombie, great visuals. The best scary visuals I've seen from any director in a long time. But that he should never write a movie, like ever. Like, don't tell him to have ideas. Ideas visually, fine. But I've always said, if someone wrote a really good horror script and he directed it using his visuals, but not his fucking words, since he can't write a script to save his life, you would have one of the best, freakiest, scariest horror movies out there. I guarantee it. But, his wife needs a job every 5 seconds to be put in a movie. Sorry, it's the truth. Let's be honest. But, yeah, Knock Knock, great movie. That's who's there. So, yeah, watch it if you're bored. I'd say, don't rush, but if you got time to kill, you'll be interested. Definitely probably could watch it with your girlfriend, too. She's not going to be offended. She's not going to be like, it's fucked up. Too much blood and stuff like that. I think it's something couples could even watch. Although, don't cheat. Later.